It's Fatthew with Loso again to my front.
Hello.
Non-sexually. And our resident nerd, Young Trenton.
What it do?
And this is Dudes Talking
Stuff.
That was nice.
Dudes talking stuff.
What do you have for us?
All right, so we got some quick hits we're going to get into. We had the World Series. It ended.
Oh, they did that?
They finished it. And Fatthew, your pick was right. You said the red team was going to win, and they did.
The Bloods win?
They did.
I knew it. Their rappers are hotter right now.
It was a landslide.
Hobbs.
All right, well, that's what we have on baseball. People are playing hockey. That's cool.
Way to go.
All right, hockey. Another sport with sticks and knives.
They're very popular, apparently.
Yeah, sticks
The
and
stick
knives.
sports.
So a lot of ways to get killed in the hockey. Ring.
It's like wrestling. Is it a ring or is it a ring?
It's definitely.
Oh, all right. Resident Nerd chimed in. It's a rink.
I believe him.
All right.
It's also like your native people's sport, man. You should know a little more.
Well, you know.
He's a terrible Canadian.
Yeah. Worst Canadian I've ever met.
Moving on. We got Snoozin' or Boozin'. This is our weekly matchup that we're going to take a look at here. And are you going to be staying up late for this one, get a couple beers in, or you can sleep in? You're going to go ahead and take this one off. It's a snoozer. We have the Giants versus the Niners. Fatthew, what you going to be doing?
I decided at first I was going to snooze it because this is going to be a terrible matchup. But the opportunity to booze up and play a new game I invented, where you just take a drink every time you see a goofy face. When the camera goes to Eli, you drink. Bethard, be on the sidelines looking sad, drink. Back to Eli. Shanahan kind of looks like a cross between an elf and a hobbit, drank. Eli, drank. Up to Witten, drank. Booger McFarland,
yeah,
drank. And by that time, you're calling out.
You might not make it through the first quarter.
Snooze it. No, you won't make it through the first 2 minutes until they go to commercial.
Yeah, it just goes back from Witten to Eli to Witten to Eli.
What I just described was the first 5 minutes. That's pregame.
Oh, wow. So you can still snooze it in then. You can still get in before 9. There are a couple things I would do instead of watching the Giants and Niners sleep, fart, make a sandwich,
Okay.
fall asleep again, watching something, anything else. So that. I'll be snoozing this game.
All right. Well, maybe you can come over and play the new game.
You know what? I'd be interested. I have to see what the Uber rates are that day.
A long trip from Canada.
If there's any surges, yeah, I have to think about it. But we got beef. We got some beef going on.
Not us personally.
No, not us.
Oh.
We're great. You're great.
That might be long.
You're all right. You're good. Trenton, you're okay.
Maybe.
But we got some big beef in the news, and one of the bigger ones we saw was Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul. This was the first game of the season, I think. I think it was the first game of the season.
It was early.
They got into a scuffle. Allegedly, some spit was tossed. Some fists were thrown.
No, the internet proved it. My people proved it.
I've seen that it's impossible to spit with a mouthpiece, so I'd say it was incidental spitting. It was he didn't do it.
Yeah, so what happened was Chris Paul allegedly shoved him in the face.
He definitely did that.
And then we have to say allegedly in front of everything, right? And so then
not when it's Chris Paul.
He said allegedly that Rondo spit on him. The internet investigated. They found it. It was more of a spray spit.
Yeah,
it was talent. I actually think that he was really their buddies, and that Rondo was just wanting him to know what movies he's been into lately. And so it was his way of saying, "Hey, man, I love the first Jurassic Park." So he just walked up and hit him with a little spray spit. It was like,
yeah, remember that?
Yeah, remember that part of the film?
And Chris Paul he didn't remember that part of the movie, so he got mad.
Rondo wasn't sure how to charade Jeff Goldblum to him, so he just walked up and just spit him in the face like that. Or they say Chris Paul now is a bad teammate. Ryan Hollins and Big Baby Davis backed Rondo, said he's a terrible teammate. So maybe Rondo's just mad he stole his title. Rondo was always the worst teammate. Now Chris Paul's getting that title. Maybe he's upset.
I could see that. I also think that Chris Paul is one of the few guys in the league that can actually make Rajon Rondo look like the good guy in this scenario.
He did.
I think he kind of did. I think Rajon Rondo comes out pretty clean in this. No spit, nothing.
I'd like to say if the spit does not hit, you must have quit.
We're not sure because it was a spray. It's hard to say how much it hit and what it hit.
Man.
It looked more like a gleat.
Yeah, if you remember that.
We're getting technical. There's no crimes against bleeding. So,
if you only get hit with a little bit of dinosaur spray, you're getting burned either way.
That's poison, man.
That was also a rhyme.
Yeah.
Life.
If it rhymes, it's true.
It's true.
Another NBA beef we have is Andre Drummond and Joel Embiid. Two big men. We got Drummond from the Pistons, Embiid from the 76ers looking to make some noise this year. They played a game, and I believe Embiid was on his Twitter account saying that he owns a lot of real estate in Andre Drummond's head.
Well, Embiid actually flopped, and it got a foul for, I think maybe even a technical for Drummond, in which he was upset, so he said some adult words to Embiid, and then he got kicked out the game. So he said he owns real estate in his hand.
And then I believe Drummond responded that Embiid was a fat, lazy actor, something to that effect in regards to his flop.
Yeah.
But I believe Embiid made another comment about it, about having some real estate in Drummond's head.
He said it twice, pretty much now.
Yeah, so...
Well, my opinion is that since Drummond plays in Detroit, that real estate, he probably owns a lot of it. Because one game check will buy him half the city. So I figured, Embiid's probably right. But I still don't think, and I don't think Drummond could call him fat. As a fat person myself, who worked 30 years for this body, I'm insulted that pro athlete would call that other pro athlete fat.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it just shows how much real estate.
Boobs. There's
your problem.
I'm going through fat man injuries right now. I've had gout recently. Has Embiid ever dealt with gout? No.
I don't think he
has.
has.
Not a fat man.
You almost had back surgery.
Don't disrespect me that way. Yeah, I can't afford the back surgery. I need it too.
Yeah, I think he had a couple there. But, so I think they have another game coming up, so we'll see who's got the real estate.
All right, so we're going to jump into our How High segment. We did this last one. It's a last pod. It's a winner. From 0 to 10, we question how high these individuals were on a scale from Tim Tebow, means they don't, to Ricky Williams, quit your job to go smoke in Jamaica. Our first one we have is, I got to set the stage. It's 10 p.m.
Okay.
It's Ripley's Aquarium. A man buys a ticket. He walks in. And
what time does the aquarium close?
I thought that too. Apparently it's open until 11, which is great. So they're in the twilight of the shift. And then he comes in and he gets naked and jumps in the shark tank.
What the fuck?
Oh, wow.
And then the security tries to get him out. And they're like, come on, because the security's not jumping in the shark tank.
No.
And so he'd get out and they'd be like, yeah, and then he would jump back in. And he would get out, jump back in. So eventually he jumped out and he ran off. And they never got him before the cops came. They also say this same individual may have been involved in a violent crime at medieval times earlier in the evening. On a scale from Tim Tebow to Ricky Williams, how high are you to get involved in a violent crime at medieval times and then decide to go for a skinny dip in a shark tank right afterwards?
Well, I will say I think it's easy to link the two. Seems like it fits the profile.
It does,
so
yeah.
I hope you didn't leave any fingerprints because that sounds like an open and shut case. As far as how high, I think this is past Ricky Williams. I don't think he's gone off into some level C narcotics.
Yeah, I actually said he was Johnny Cash eating a cake in a garden high.
Oh, yeah. Mind-altering stuff.
But the garden's not really there.
No,
it's
or the cake. It's a piece of shit.
And the cake was one of those big drumsticks from medieval times. All right, my other one is Chad Kelly, a.k.a. Swag Kelly. The now former Broncos quarterback was found. Actually, a couple woke up a few nights before Halloween, in the middle of October, in the middle of the night, to find a man sitting on their couch, drunk and mumbling. They chased him off by hitting him with a vacuum hose, where he wandered off and was found in his car by the police, not driving, luckily. And that man was Chad Kelly. On a scale
Swag.
from Tim Tebow to Ricky Williams, how high was Chad Kelly to get so messed up that he wandered into random folks' homes and just sat on their couch?
I would say for the average person, this would be pretty high. I think for
Definitely.
Swag Kelly, this is pretty regular. I think this is average. I'd say
It's a Wednesday.
not high. I'd say this is his equivalent of Tim Tebow. This is just,
Oh, man.
yeah.
I just know exactly nothing. Like, this is just zero
This is-
flat.
It's a
I
Tuesday.
imagine this is just how Swag Kelly ends his night every night. This time he just didn't end it at his house.
I actually had Jim Irsay drunk, which was just drunk all day. So I think maybe on the same premise, it's just
Yeah.
this is all the time.
Like
Just
Day drink on that empty
Yeah.
stomach.
yeah, and he maybe it was a Halloween party. All he ate was candy.
He's probably trying to stay a little light. He was thinking he might get a start coming in. He just played a few snaps.
Oh, man, you
So he's just sticking to the liquids.
drink 36 beers, eat a whole chicken, and
Go on
Good
party.
to know.
Well, that's where it ended. Yeah.
That's football. throw no interception. That's close. All right, we're on the no hitter, Gruden is our last candidate.
Johnny.
Of course, the Oakland one, everyone's favorite, and Mr. Bad Haircut. Can we go with that?
Yeah.
Or does his owner take it a little further?
The combination of the two, I think, is head and shoulders, no pun
Yeah,
intended there, ahead of the rest of the league.
we digress. Gruden says his players are, quote, dying to play for the Raiders. On a scale from Tim Tebow to Ricky Williams, how high is Joe Gruden for thinking people are dying to play for the Raiders?
Well, I think if he means literally, then he probably has a good point. I did see Amari Cooper almost got his head taken off. He's
Yeah.
no longer on the Raiders.
Yeah.
Derek Carr was not crying just a week or two ago, but he looked a little battered and bruised out there. So in the technical sense of players are literally dying on the field, I see where he's coming from on that.
Wow.
Now, if he's talking about actual talented players that are not on the team that want to come to him, I think that's snorting Zanny's high. One, I don't know which active players he could be talking to on other teams that are telling him they want to come play. I'm thinking this is more like Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice from the old, what was that, 2003 Super Bowl team? Giving Gruden a call like, hey, I'm still in great shape. My 40 times good. You should see my reps, my bench reps. But as far as actual players that can come make an impact, I don't think they're there right now. But they're building a contender.
I didn't think of that as a take, that people are actually dying to play for them. Like, they're literally saying, hey, I want to come to go play in England and cry and lose and have people notice more because you are who you are. If I played Bills, at least I'll lose and people don't talk about it as much.
It's an honorable death. So
I actually had these kids getting high on synthetic weed and seizuring. I'm going to explain this one a little bit.
okay.
I do think he's high because Gruden believes only in football worlds and only thinks only in football terms. And so he believes players want to come play football and win. And that's just not happening over there. So he is high in seizuring. But it's not real. It's not a real high because young millionaires do want to come live in Vegas. I think I'm not young. I'm not a millionaire. But if I was,
If you were, yeah.
I think Vegas would be a hot spot. It's way better
Number
than
one.
Cleveland and Detroit. And I'm going to stop city slandering before I get in trouble.
Yeah,
but
allegedly.
And
Allegedly better.
I'll play a little football while I'm there.
Yeah,
while
yeah.
I'm at the casinos. and
expectations aren't high.
gambling. Buffets are cheap.
It's really
Great shows.
so maybe.
Yeah.
So there, he's synthetic kid seizuring.
He's lit. He's pretty lit there. We are actually, speaking of Mr. Gruden and his Raiders, we will not be discussing them in our midseason review for the NFL, other than to say they are trash and they're probably going to get the number one pick. So,
Congrats.
yeah, way to go on building that contender. I can't wait to see which team you trade that player to for additional draft picks in the future. But taking a look this year, if you're looking at the NFC, I think you got a lot of competition still from even 3 or 4 teams that are currently, if the season were to end today, that are not in the hunt or not in the top 6 that have a shot. You've got Philadelphia Eagles, Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers are right there. I think they're all within a game of that 6th seed. You got the Rams at the top of the division, top of the conference. You've got the Saints are looking really good. Obviously, Carolina, Cam Newton, they've really put together solid offense and defense. The AFC is a little, to me, looks a little easier to kind of get an idea of where the playoff picture stands. The guys that are out right now, you've got the Jaguars. I think they're hitting that sophomore slump. They won a lot of games last year. You know, in relation to they were good last year. They made the playoffs.
They had it looks like a flash in the pan.
Okay.
Flash in
you
the
know
pan.
what? I won't argue that because right now they look terrible.
Yeah.
I think you've got a couple teams in the AFC that may be able to move on up into the standings, and we'll take a look at that. But first, we're going to get to our midseason ballers. We've got our offense and our defensive ballers. These guys, I mean, they're balling. What else is there to say? They're ballers. They're The Rock.
Dwayne. Yeah, own TV show. Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Ballers.
They all hang out together. So, Fatthew, who do we have? Who's our offensive baller?
Well, speaking of TV shows,
Uh-oh.
Kermit is probably the number 1 offensive. Pat Mahomes. Sounds like a Muppet. Maybe like a teenage Muppet. Not necessarily a Muppet baby. I don't want to put him there, but not a grown Muppet either.
Somewhere in the middle.
He's balling. I think everyone's talked about it. Just over 2,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 115 QB rating, and his team's winning, which of course we all know that the MVP race is also a team race.
Yeah.
And he's looking like the lead, and he's a rookie.
And he does all this with a bag of marbles in his mouth, so
All the time.
It's pretty impressive. They haven't, it's an Andy Reid coached team.
I support that. Fat man.
Yeah.
Fat man.
He always thinks that there is going to be a fall, though.
He likes to lead in the fourth quarter so he can replace his playbook with like a to-go menu.
In-N-Out Burger?
Yeah.
They're in Kansas City.
I don't think.
What's hot there?
I have some barbecue.
I bet they do ribs to go there all day.
As soon as he leaves the locker room, they're just sitting there.
Yeah. Okay. So he's just like number 7. We're gonna run the number 7 with the 2 sides.
2 sides. We get them baked beans. I feel like he had the 3rd side.
I would
It
think
strikes me as a 3-side man.
If it doesn't come with 3, he's getting 3. It doesn't matter. I can see that. Okay. Defensively, we've got a guy who maybe should not have been traded. Would that be a fair argument at this point, Fatthew, or what do you think? Who's our defensive baller?
I was thinking Khalil Mack. The guy should have been traded, but his injuries kind of held him, kind of injured him a little bit. So we went Aaron Darnold. Blah, blah, blah. So that turned into
Donald. Yeah.
I had a mouthful of marbles right there. We were talking about it. It affected me. 10 sacks for Donald, 29 tackles, a forced fumble, 12 tackles for losses, 17 QB hits. We're halfway through the season. And, I mean, his team, the Rams, haven't lost.
That's pretty good.
I'm sure it helps to have Sue on the side. Like, I imagine when Sue comes up, instead of pushing the guys in the chest, he just hits them both in the nuts. So it's really easy for Donald to kind of sneak through after that. But, I mean, nonetheless, you can't argue stats.
No, I'm with you there. And I definitely did update my notes to show that Aaron Donald was our defensive baller.
That's
and not Khalil Mack. But, hey, he's had a pretty good few games as well.
If he was still healthy, hands down.
It'd be close, yeah. But Aaron Donald, definitely baller. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Donald, congratulations. You've won the Dudes Talking Stuff Midseason Baller Awards. Keep it up.
That was their applause.
All right.
Respect nothing else.
Now, what goes up must come down. Does that? I think that fits this.
Wait. Our true picks.
Oh, true picks. Yeah, for mid-season ballers. I mean,
we wanted to not seem biased, so we picked some guys.
Yeah, but obviously,
honestly, the best players have been Cam Newton offensively,
easily,
66% completion, 1,600 passing yards, 300 rushing yards, 13 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions.
Those sound like MVP numbers.
Those sound a lot like MVP numbers.
That sounds very.
And if you're not thinking about it, whoever Mr. MVP ballad you are, Cam Newton.
Just saying, he's
and defensively,
he already knows how to accept the award.
Oh, he's ready. He's wrote the award. He's probably already written his second acceptance. He's just waiting.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he was going to get it the year after he won it the first time. I mean, a couple injuries.
He wrote it for his Super Bowl MVP speech. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, that one
kind of hurt. That hurt himself. Our defense, our real one, moving on, was Luke August Kuechly with 1 interception, 57 tackles, 2 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and the best defensive mind currently playing. Now we can move on to all those bummy dudes.
Oh, yeah. So we've got our bums. So we had our ballers, obviously killing it right now, just destroying the league. Teams are doing well. But now we've got guys that maybe had some better projections earlier in the season or thought they were going to, in life in general. But offensively, this one was pretty easy. We're going with famous Jameis Winston.
Definitely.
Suspended for the first 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. He was suspended for some games. Uber trip gone wrong.
Gone sexy.
Yeah, or unsexy.
Forcibly sexy.
Yeah, unsexy.
Yeah, that sounded bad.
That's not sexy at all.
But so he got suspended. While he was suspended, his backup quarterback, who was 87-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick, came in, threw a shitload of touchdowns. I think they started off 3-0. They beat the Falcons, I believe. They beat the Steelers. They beat a lot of teams. And Ryan Fitzpatrick had a lot of touchdowns.
He probably is still top 10 in touchdowns, and he hasn't played 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But he had a bad half, so once Winston was off suspension, he got the job back. I think he held it for 2 games, 2.5 games, after which he lost it again to 87-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick, who Fitzmagic, I mean, is it real? We'll see. Probably not happening this week. But
because he's playing the Panthers.
Yeah, Winston, I mean, I think Winston just lost $100 million.
Yeah, I mean, 1 loss for the Uber ride, 2 losses for essentially being benched twice because you came back and they were like, nah, not yet. And so he got benched kind of again.
Yeah.
And, he kind of double lost, but it's kind of triple because he's probably not going to ever be able to take Uber again.
My question is, if the Browns are trending up and they have their quarterback, where do crappy QBs like Jameis Winston go in free agency? Is he
Arizona?
Arizona? Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be the fight for the crappy QBs this offseason.
Do you think Jameis Winston is dying to play in Oakland?
Yeah. What do you think?
Jameis
Winston's
in
better
Vegas?
than Carr?
I'm just saying.
He probably cries less.
I think I bet he'd be dying to go there.
I'm sure he's dying.
I'm sure he would not be opposed to
He
it.
wants to start crying.
Our defensive bum,
Shaq Lawson,
hasn't really done anything. I don't know. I haven't seen him.
He got drafted last year, top number 1 for the Bills, which was a pretty decently high pick. He got injured, was out 10, 12 games, didn't play much, and then this year, I mean, as a whole, the Bills have been just sad.
Trash.
And he's been sad. And the main reason I picked him was because he went to Clemson, and I hate those guys. There's only a few guys I've forgiven from Clemson. Like Deshaun, I've forgiven because he went to my AFC team that's full of a lot of Gamecocks and the owner, the Houston Texans. is a Gamecock alumni. Swearinger is now there. Jonathan Joseph is there. Clowney is there. Two of those guys are from Rock Hill, the city, the home base. So he went to that team, and I did forget Watson, but most two people I haven't forgiven.
So, congratulations, Jameis Winston and Shaq Lawson. You have won our midseason bum awards. Good luck in free agency next year. We're going to talk about a couple teams that, if the season ends today, they are not in the playoffs, but have a shot. Who you got? Who you think is going to make a move up there, Fatthew?
I got moving on up. I got the Ravens moving on up because really everyone else in the AFC not currently in the playoff predictions now. All trueness aside, we're recording this before the games that happened last Sunday when you hear this.
We've already picked them all right.
But the Ravens are going to be the ones that still – everyone else out of the playoff picture is kind of trash. And their whole division is about, I think, one game back, about a game and a half. Pittsburgh's up only because of a tie. So any loss in there is really going to be a major factor. So I think they can move on up.
They definitely stand a shot. You've got, I think we kind of touched the Jaguars, 3-5. I don't see them moving up. Honestly, if I had to pick, I'd say the Colts have a better chance to move up than the Jaguars at this point. I think they've put together a few games. I think they're still a couple games back, though, at this point. Again, AFC, I think it's kind of cut and dried. There might be, I think the Ravens are a team that can move up. You might see a team like Cincinnati move down from the playoffs. Tennessee hasn't really looked that great, so I don't know if they're going to make the move up. NFC, I think this is where it gets a little trickier. You've got a lot of teams that aren't in, that were in the playoffs last year. If the season ended right now, you've got the Vikings, the Eagles, I believe the Packers. I don't think they made it last year because Aaron Rodgers was injured, but those are three pretty good teams that need to win a couple games to get back into the hunt. Atlanta's in that group too. So it could be interesting to see. Out of those four, I would personally think the Eagles have the best shot.
I went Eagles too.
It's hard to pick against Aaron Rodgers, but kind of hate that guy. So I'm picking the Eagles.
I actually think it's because now I want to say they're 3-3 in a lot of games. They're underdogs now, and that's when they bring out remember last season. They thought they were underdogs. Dudes started wearing rubber dog masks on the sidelines. Super Bowl run. They're the underdogs again. They're going to break out that rubber mask. It may not be a German Shepherd. It may be a pug this time. They're not quite as intimidating. But nonetheless, make a playoff run in those masks.
Is Chris Long still on the team?
I think
he re-signed. I think
so.
I think they did not keep LeGarrette Blount. Which,
I don't like Paul.
Yeah, but they've been on all the Super Bowl teams for the last couple of years. So when they had him and Blount, it doubled their odds. So now they're kind of playing with fire because they let one of them go. But okay, so there's a couple teams we think could move up a little bit. Moving down in the NFC, Washington's a candidate, possibly. Their whole division's not that great right now, though.
I still had Steelers-Bengals, that same division with the Ravens, talking about how close they are. And same situation. They are the two I think right now would make it in and be a wild card. But either of them lose one game, and they're out. I mean, that division is probably the most interesting division in the league when it comes to the who's on top race.
I could see the last game of the week being deciding factor for all three of these teams with playoff implications, I should say. Okay, so we've got some races going on there.
I had the Bears in the NFC.
Bears is moving down?
Moving down because they're the same situation. Their division's a mess. Rodgers is still in it.
Yeah.
If I was a coach, Minnesota would still scare me a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They're 4-4. They're 500, but I mean, last year they were really good. They supposedly upgraded quarterback.
Do you believe in the Bitsky?
No, I don't, because he's a quarterback from UNC, so fuck that guy. No, he's trash. I do like the Bears' defense. Khalil Mack has been hurt.
Yeah,
a couple
we need
games.
him back to be in Anaheim.
Yeah, healthy Khalil Mack. This defense is pretty good. I could see them staying in the playoffs and getting beat in the first round.
All right. So before we move on from the NFL to the NBA, we want to tell you that this episode of Dudes Talking Stuff is brought to you by the Smoker's Cabinet, Rock Hill's finest smoke shop, located on Mount Gallant Road, conveniently in between Celanese and Cherry, within 20 minutes of anywhere in Rock Hill.
That is convenient.
Very convenient.
Oh, wow.
For all your tobacco-only needs. They have tobacco-only pipes, tobacco-only grinders, tobacco-only incense, tobacco-only bongs, just all the tobacco-only materials you could ever imagine. Stop in the finest tobacco-only smoke shop in Rock Hill. And on to the NBA. We're going to do...
responsibly.
Yes, definitely. We're on the NBA again. We did a Rookie of the Year the first pod. Loso picked DeAndre Ayton.
Rookie.
I went with Luka Doncic. And we're going to review every pod to see who's right and who's wrong because we're a little petty.
Definitely.
And right now, I think the heads say that Luka's actually in the race, but I might argue that your guy is a little ahead.
You know what? I would actually compare this to the king of petty right now. I think Luka Doncic has a couple more points, but overall I think Ayton does have pretty solid overall game going. This is average 17, 11, a few assists a game too. That's pretty cool for a center.
He's averaging, Ayton is 17, 11, 62% of the floor, 3 assists, in about 31 and a half minutes. Luka is averaging 20, which is, I think, what everyone looks at. But he's 46 from the floor, which he's shooting not within 5 feet. I mean, DeAndre Ayton.
He's shooting from Europe.
Yeah. But he also has 6.5 rebounds and 4.5 assists. His assist numbers, I think, could be a little higher. And maybe, I don't know that you could really say either one of them is that much more valuable than the other one at this point.
Well, the good news is they're both terrible this
terrible
year.
Teams.
I think they've combined to win 2, maybe 3 games.
Three together.
But they are in the battle for first pick in
next year's draft. One of them's going to get hooked up with a nice friend.
Yeah, somebody's about to get a superpower.
Yeah, a buddy cop movie.
I think I'd rather see Luka Doncic in a buddy cop movie.
Easily.
I will say it.
I mean, no offense, Ayton, but you just...
Ayton could be the villain. That would be cool.
Yeah, whoever is at Bleacher Report that does the Game of Thrones cartoons.
Let's get that set up. There are a couple other rookies though that are doing pretty well. Wendell Carter, Trae Young, Marvin Bagley, they all are. I think they're doing better. Maybe Bagley is probably doing about what people expected, but Wendell Carter is balling for Chicago comparatively. I mean, Trae Young. I think a lot of people thought that trade was kind of dumb for the Hawks, but Trae Young's actually been putting up decent numbers.
I thought it was dumb as a Luka supporter.
He's obviously biased.
But I hate the Hawks. I'm glad they did it.
Glad
they did it.
But dark horse rookie of the year candidate. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think.
Have you already picked one?
No. I've got DeAndre Ayton as my rookie of the year, but
I know we got two.
No. Just a dark horse. I'm just saying that. Keep an eye out for Ben Simmons. I think he's gonna figure out a loophole. He is still looking to be the first player in NBA history to repeat Rookie of the Year.
To win Rookie of the Year in his second and third year in the league.
I think he's got a really good shot. I really like his odds here. Something can happen. It would not be surprised.
All right. Well, we're also going to do a FMK. I think everybody knows what that means. A team you want to F, a team you want to marry, a team you want to kill.
I'm going to M them, and I'm going to K them.
We're just going to say M and K so that it's all politically friendly.
We don't know if we can be sued or not.
We don't want to say that we're putting out threats.
This is not fuck, marry, kill.
FMK. All right, and I think I'll go first. I had the East.
I thought we were going to flip for it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, by one.
You got it.
Yeah. So I, of course, am going to F the Hornets. Not because
Ouch.
I'm a homer,
Definitely
but
sounds
because I mainly want to F sexy ass Kemba Walker.
Wow. Okay.
And he's
Kemba, if you're
averaging.
listening.
Yeah. Yes. I'll put my. Let's not go.
All right.
All right. He's averaging about 30. I mean, you can't argue that. And in the East, you have one guy average 30. You can make a playoff run. So I'm definitely effing the Hornets. I'm not marrying them, but I'm coming to see them. I might not even leave out. I'll stay in and have breakfast.
Oh, so it's not like a 2 a.m. question mark text?
No. No. So you want to go ahead and do the? Who are you effing?
Me, my F
In the West.
In the West. I am been eyeing them a little bit, and I'm gonna F the Grizzlies. I'm effing them up.
I knew you were furry.
I am. They originated from the motherland. Shout out Vancouver. So definitely got some love there for them. They're 5-2 right now. Conley's averaging over 20 points a game. Marcus Gasol, former defensive player of the year, or at least in the top 2 or 3 at one point.
They talked about it.
Jaren Jackson, number 4 pick. He's got some potential.
Yeah, I really think he does look good.
I don't think that they'll stay healthy, which is why I'm not M'ing them.
Gotcha.
Because the Grizzlies tend to play good for 20 or 30 games, get hurt, and then play bad for
they tend
the
to
remaining 40 or 50.
become too friendly, like their Canadian roots.
But they're
They
very
just lose that drive to be aggressive.
they're very gritty though. I think the grit wears them down.
Makes them nicer, like Canadians.
It just wears on you. It's hard to be gritty all the time. But yeah, they're my F.
Who you marrying in the West?
I'm Emmett.
Emmett.
I'm Emmett up. I'm Emmett up the Nuggets. We got a thing. And I'm putting a ring on.
Going on.
The Nuggets are 8-1. Currently 2 seed in the East, in the Western Conference, I should say. I don't know that they'll keep the 2 seed in the West, but I see them having a real shot at staying in the top 4. Got a couple guys averaging over 18. Of course, Nikola Jokic. Gary Harris is out there leading the team right now in points. You got Barton, my man Jamal Murray, shout out to Canada, and his Adidas deal. Still have Paul Millsap on the team. I mean, that's good veteran forward presence, and I don't think Isaiah Thomas has played yet, but who knows?
He'll get out there.
Might
He'll drive the Brink truck to the game.
Yeah, the Brinks truck. Shout out. So he's getting emmed. I'm emming the Nuggets and Isaiah. Love them all.
I'm in the Raptors.
Ooh.
Because I like teeth.
Okay.
But mainly it's because Kawhi. I mean, he's there. He's real. He's been slowly growing his soul back since he left San Antonio. So they stole his soul, and he's growing emotions back, and he's actually liking his teammates.
One emotion at a time.
Because they stole his soul, he doesn't even feel the cold in Canada. So it doesn't even bother him that he's crossed the border. And so I think they're doing great, and they're going to be, as long as it seeds out right, bar no injuries, be in the Eastern Conference Finals with Boston.
Well, his logo is, if I'm not mistaken, the claw.
No.
The big hand claw
There
for
it is.
the Raptors.
There it is.
Claws.
The link is all making sense.
I don't think reptiles get cold, so
And I'm going
Reptiles
to...
definitely get cold. That's how they die.
Yeah, they actually can't maintain
Yeah.
So
their body temperature.
we don't really pay attention to things like
Thank you for
facts.
Resident Nerd.
Yeah.
That's what we brought him in here for.
Yeah.
But we appreciate that. Okay, so
That's
It's nature, baby.
well, this raptor, he's got a mink, so he's fine. He's not
He came
getting
from
cold.
Texas. So
Yeah.
that warmth from Texas is keeping him alive right now.
It's like
He
like,
generated
it's
it.
still.
He absorbed it.
yeah,
So in the East,
perfect.
I'm gonna K
You
the
can, bro.
Cleveland.
Oh.
Easiest decision I've ever made.
Drew Carey once said Cleveland rocks.
And maybe in his soul he thought that was true.
Which he definitely wasn't talking about the Cowboys.
definitely wasn't talking about the sports team. Any of them, really, at the time. But at this time, they pulled the plug on Kevin Love. They're like, hey, Kevin, you know that injury you've been playing with for years? Why don't you go ahead and have surgery on that? Sit it out. come back right before the trade deadline. You get healthy right then, and bye. And so they're going to get rid of him. The interim coach doesn't even want to be the interim coach. I've never seen that before. He's playing as their interim coach, but he's the voice of the player. The voice is his term. And they're just a mess, and they are also trying to get in that number 1 seed conversation. In fact, I think they probably will get it because that seems to be the way. As long as that kid brings his son in and they ends up winning it. It happens every time.
I think they could finish in the bottom 10 and still get it. They seem to get it every
That's
time.
Every time. And so
I don't blame the coach, though, because I guess when this happens, coaches are supposed to get a pay increase. It doesn't sound like that was happening. And then, I mean, would you really want to coach the Cavaliers right now?
Yeah, it's like someone's like, hey, here's this dog that isn't house trained at all, attacks children, and always runs away and gets out. Hey, you want to be the owner?
Yeah,
that's pretty much the same thing he asked. Like, hey, you want to run this team?
Yeah, I know you were supposed to be an assistant, but we're gonna keep you as head coach, same pay, and these losses count on your record.
Yeah,
you win.
Nothing personal.
Oh, wait, what? No, that's weird.
Who are you K'ing?
Oh, I'm K'ing up
in the West,
and this is respectfully to Mr. D Rose, who dropped 50 points and still has a alleged assault case.
Brought tears to us all.
Coming up, the Timberwolves. I'm K'ing them, man. Jimmy,
so early.
Jimmy Butler. There's, they said this trade was going to happen quickly. Apparently, from what I understand, he pretty much had a guarantee he was going to be moved for the right price. I guess that price hasn't come across yet, but every day that goes by, the price goes down. He's basically playing whenever he wants to. He said if he's going to play it back-to-back, it's up to him. It's basically like he's just walking into work, and he's like, not even walking into work, just calls his boss, fuck you, boss. I'm not coming in today. And the boss can't do anything because he makes more money than his boss. So, it's a weird situation.
So you might as well put them down.
They're Cade. I don't think they are going to make it, and I don't think Butler will be on the team soon enough, but I'm sure it'll just make them worse. Either way. But hey, Derrick Rose, way to go. 50 points.
Congrats.
Good job. But yeah, K the Timberwolves.
All right, our next one is
Squad.
This is teammates we think are most likely to be hanging out together in situations.
Doing stuff.
Most likely to double date.
Double date?
Yeah.
Ooh, double date. This one is actually a blast from the past, but I think they'd still have a good time, and that is Mr. Tony Parker. He's on the Hornets now. He played his whole career with San Antonio, but I have a feeling he would be game for a double date with one of his teammates.
For those of you that don't remember, Tony Parker used to go on double dates with his teammate, the Barry.
Brent Barry, slam dunk champion. And show some respect.
He completely was cheating on his friend and teammate with friend and teammate's wife. And at the same time, he was dating, married to this really
Eva Longoria,
who, like, at the time was like the hottest thing happening. But he didn't care.
Ballsy move.
Ballsy. So, I guess which teammate would go on that date with Tony Parker?
Initially, I was thinking Frank Kaminsky, but then I remembered who he was. I think he's probably single.
Yes.
I would go probably one of his younger teammates, so that may not know a little bit about the history of the game.
Yeah, just a little blindsided by him.
Yeah. I'd say him and Batum, maybe, the French connection.
Yes, French people are into sharing condoms. That's what they say.
Yeah, they
allegedly.
They're probably just like, it's Wednesday.
All right. And teammates that are most likely to stay up late playing Fortnite, I actually went with Jokic. And eating pizza rolls, of course. Drinking Mountain Dew.
Oh, yeah.
Or playing as themselves in 2K.
But Diet Mountain Dew if it's the night before a game.
Oh, God, you gotta be serious.
Yeah.
I went Jokic, the Joker. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his social media accounts. He's the friendliest guy ever. He just loves everything. I love being part of this city. I love playing for this team. This is such a magical moment. And I honestly think that he probably still lives like he moved his parents over with him. They probably live with him. They do chores. He stays up late playing video games. And I put him with Plumlee. One of the Plumlee brothers is on that team. Don't ask me which one. And I think he also looks like he'd stay up playing games with Jokic.
I think during the season, definitely. I can definitely see those two guys hanging out.
Prejudice to me because of their pale skin colors. I think they'd stay up all night playing video games.
Don't get a lot of sun. During the off season though, I mean there are a ton of Plumlees out there. So, they spend all summer probably just wrestling each other and playing 21 all summer to see who's going to get the biggest contract next year for their agent to be like, hey, we just had Marshall Plumlee lighten up Mason and Miles over here. So just saying, you use a deal. So I could definitely see Plumlee needing some R&R when he's back in the season. He's already got $10 million checks coming in for the next couple years, so he's good for a couple years. I could definitely see that. We are going to go into a little entertainment.
Yeah,
this is get a little crazy in here. Maybe get a little wild. We did some reviews. We did homework.
This is not adult entertainment.
This is not adult entertainment. It
sounds that way. It's getting a little crazy and wild. Come see us for a half-off breakfast buffet.
We did some research for y'all.
I've never been in one of those places.
And we watched something.
Not all of us.
Well, Young Trenton didn't.
Give me Darefleck or give me death.
Well, you ruined it.
It's Daredevil.
It's the new season of Daredevil. Fatthew watched it pretty quickly. I finished it. So
I pounded the devil.
He did. I did finish it, and we are just going to say spoiler alert on this one. If you have plans on watching the show and you do not want to know what happens in the show, then skip forward
3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, give us a few minutes. We're gonna talk some stuff on here, but
take your headphones out.
Synopsis: you should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
I think it was good. Now, spoiler alert is over. We're starting. Here comes the spoilers, so you better have skipped.
The title of the whole series should be called Daredevil, Matt Murdock, Blind Dick Hole.
Blind Dick Hole.
Like, if I was his friend, I would never hang out with him again. All he ever does, he pretends he dies, and then he doesn't tell them when he's back. And he lied to him about being blind his whole life. And then in this series, when he does come back, he's like, hey, guys, by the way, F you guys, I'm never hanging out with you again. And best friend for life, I'm stealing your wallet with all your money in it, and I'm going to go pretend to be you in like a federal, essentially, impersonation.
Isn't this a place where, they're both lawyers, so you would think that the security guards have seen these guys before, but
right.
not going to go too big into detail.
They didn't see him without his glasses.
And another thing they did right before the release, and Fatthew, this was your take last pod, but they canceled some Marvel shows. They canceled Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they canceled Luke Cage. Jessica Jones, you're up. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure I already said it.
Yeah, but it's only fitting that with Marvel killing off their entire Netflix show that Daredevil is shown initially basically dead, dying, broken. He's getting into street fights and he's getting his ass kicked.
Blind Ninja with thick
blood.
ropes on his hands was badass.
Yeah.
When he just started.
Yeah, that was cool. So the whole season, he pretty much costumeless.
Yeah.
He did. I do actually like that outfit. The fighting's cool. I always thought the fighting was cool on Daredevil.
I thought we were heading that they were going to cash it in and kind of make a mediocre series since they're canceling everything, but I didn't feel like they did that.
I think it was good. Great. Yeah.
They did what I call the Batman effect, and they took a terrible villain and made him crazy and made him very likable. Like, I'm sure at one time, to find what the Batman effect is, someone wasn't like, how do I make this penguin character cool?
Yeah.
It's a penguin villain.
Yeah.
I just make him crazy. Oh, man, win.
Oh,
they were like, here's Bullseye. He's
Spoiler.
really good at hitting on the... We've already spoiled. He's really good at hitting on the mark. How do we make him cool? We make him crazy.
Oh, yeah, we'll make him...
Which I have a question for you. In the show, he ends up being really crazy. Spoiler alert.
You get too specific.
Yeah.
I won't know the answer.
Uh-oh.
No, yeah.
Okay, well...
No, ask you. Ask no, I want to know.
So they end up having that girl that he kind of stalks, and then Wilson Fisk kills her.
Right.
And then he finds her later.
Yeah.
And he shows up with her. My question is, had Fisk not kind of put Bullseye out, broke his back and all that, would he have gone and banged that dead body? I think so. Like that's the level of crazy they made him. I felt like he would have done it in the Daredevil suit.
I feel like there's no other reason that he brought her.
Right? He brought her to he brought her with the being.
Once you're at that point,
this is my girl.
Yeah, once you're at that point, I think you've committed. So Bullseye, I thought he was pretty cool.
Great character.
Pretty cool character. Definitely,
they were in
definitely crazy.
That fight in the office setting. I mean, pencils, staples, like anything he could play his hands on was a weapon.
Yeah, if you're.
He almost took that one girl out with Rosary. Beads.
Definitely killed a priest. Baton through the chest.
Yeah. I mean, last take, I'm glad to see that Bash brother grew up to be a successful lawyer.
Wait, what?
The original Bash brother is Foggy, but he's also really soft. Where's the Bash brother went? Just completely buried the Bash brother inside of him because he's soft the entire time. Man, you stole my money, impersonated me, and almost put my career in question. Let's still hang out. We need to be best friends. Come work with me. Let's go work together.
Not to mention, I think Foggy dated Karen Page first. And
then Again, Matt Murdock, blind dick.
Fuck the homies.
Not so blind dick.
Yeah.
Gives no shits. Karen Page. Tough life.
Very tough life. She apparently used to sell drugs. Didn't know that. She
kissed a girl. She liked it.
She liked it. She just hung around just abroad, and that's how she sold drugs.
Pretty cool.
And her family, I don't know. It was just sad. It's just all sad. I don't want to get in all these. This is sad.
Yeah.
And she looks. I do say about the show that they found out what the 3 actors were good at, and they make them do it all the time. Like Matt Murdock, all he does is brood like the entire time. And Foggy is just optimistic and shit about everything. He's like, guys, we can still be friends. Yeah. And Karen just always looks like she's about to cry.
She's worried.
As soon as someone's like, hey, Karen, she hits him with the the Puss in Boots eyes where he looks like he's going to cry every time. Hey, Karen.
So, I mean.
Good movie, though. I mean, TV show.
Also, you have to mention it. Wilson Fisk, to me, great.
Awesome. Yeah, their villains made the show as any good superhero.
Sometimes I think people get a little too soft with the villains. Try to make them too human, I guess. And in this one, I think they do that with Wilson Fisk, Kingpin. But right after it, he goes straight into bashing somebody's skull again. So I love it.
They took it away immediately.
Yeah, it's like, my dear, I made you this omelet. And then cutscene, he's in the van and he's getting this dude to take his jacket off and beating his face in after he puts it around his head.
Give me your jacket. Thanks. Smash!
Pull over here.
Didn't want to mess up my suit.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we'll do the same thing we did last time.
How many batons would you give Daredevil?
He only needs 2.
Oh, so it's 2 perfect score. Are you giving him 2 batons?
Out of how many batons is the scale? 5 or 10?
I guess it's 2.
I had 2 out of 2, bro.
I'm giving them both batons.
Yeah, both batons up.
Yeah.
Batons
up. Costume. I'm cool with.
I like the black.
I'm cool with the black and the ropes on the hands. Like
it's a little more.
If gangster. I saw that guy, I'm not fucking with him.
Way more intimidated than red leather spandex.
No attempt at eye holes being cut out.
How has he seen me?
You know what always confused me was the guy that made his original suit. In the game, they portrayed him to be super kind of handicapped.
He's still
blacksmith.
He ends up. We're gonna spoil again. He makes the suit for the other guy, and he is handicapped. He likes some girl, and he's like, I can't let her take it from me. And so he fights him for it and uses his retard strength, and they have a little tussle. Yeah, so that definitely. No, I mean, and no.
Didn't he die?
He may have. Yeah,
I think he died.
R.I.P. Retarded strong blacksmith.
Can't say it.
I mean, sorry, R word. Oh no, different R word. Man, I'm sorry. I just apologize. Moving on. Our trailer review. This week we did The Mule, which is coming out December 14th, starring Clint Eastwood and Bradley Cooper. In the trailer, he's just kind of brooding. He's like, my life, I've been a terrible husband. I've been a terrible work person. I've been a terrible father, and I'm just terrible.
Terrible
about
father.
Everything's terrible.
And I'm broke.
I'm broke.
Terrible.
And so apparently he has to start as an old man. Maybe he's doing his whole life show, does a show. He's been a drug mule runner for the cartel across the border.
Yep, he's a mule.
So spoilers again, because our reviews are always spot on. This film is definitely going to be Clint Eastwood meets Breaking Bad.
Oh, I definitely see that.
He's going through some tough times, but then he has to turn into a Clint Eastwood gun-toting, sombrero-wearing badass.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, based on the trailer, it looked like maybe he was really into pecans for his niece.
Yeah, she made the worst pecan pies.
Yeah, she makes the worst pecan pies. He's got his truck full of
got
pecans.
a whole trunk of full.
And
her pecan pies are so bad that I make her make 40 of them
until they're good.
until they're good.
her pecan pies.
What trips me out is the dog, like the drug dog in the car, way behind his car, like starts just going nuts, and the cop's just like, "Oh shit, here we go." Like, is that real? Like, can a drug dog smell you from that far away? It's crazy.
I have no
rolled
idea.
up. It was weird.
I don't never want to be. He's just.
Set up.
I would think so.
Gotta
That's
make
like their whole
conspiracy.
job. I
It was
think,
the
right?
pecans. I was like, he just loves pecans. Her dog's going crazy over pecans.
Yeah,
Love this
German
terrible
Shepherds.
pecan pie.
I kind of imagine an elderly Scarface. I like to call it possibly Old Jack City.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
trapping out the retirement community.
Trap job.
Essentially, it's just going to get so hard at the end. Eventually, he'll come around.
The retired job.
When in New Jack City where he's like, I'm going to cancel this person. 'Cause I'm not going to use the word allegedly.
Yeah.
I imagine
Allegedly.
it's the same thing, except he's like, I'm going to cancel this person and just drops applesauce on him.
Drops
Just,
applesauce.
cancel that
Okay.
applesauce squirt.
Pecans.
Pecans.
He's like 88 years old.
Yeah.
Crazy how old he is.
So I'm going to give it
Skin like
6
that.
out of 10 because of most Clint Eastwood movies I've seen in the last decade, it probably turned a little racist somewhere,
That's what I was waiting
which
on.
will probably be fun. But it's going to probably really be brooding and emotional as most Clint Eastwood movies
Oh, yeah.
I've seen in the last decade.
When life was hard.
Life was
Well, the end scene, the very end scene trailer I saw, it showed a man walking behind Clint Eastwood. Then it cuts to Clint in his truck, and he's covered in blood.
Ooh.
Can't remember what they said, but I can assume that guy is dead.
Elderly Scarface.
And he's 88, but would you fuck with him?
No.
Clint Eastwood?
I feel like he would kick my ass,
Yeah.
and I feel like Clint deserves our respect after 60 years of movies. I'm going to give this a 10.
Remember that
Whoa.
wind-up guy from Hellboy that had, like, sand blood?
'Cause I don't
Like,
want
that's
Clint
the
after
level
me.
Clint's
I'm
at.
10. Clint,
I think
I'm giving you a 10. Do not come
You
after
kick
me.
your ass and force feed you pecans.
Yeah.
Oh,
A bunch of
God.
racist
That
shit,
terrible
too.
pecan pie.
A bunch of racist stuff. Oh, all right. So
Go
we're
see Mule, folks.
So we're moving on to our illustrious segment where our resident nerd, Young Trenton,
Trent's pick.
Trent's
Right.
pick.
It's the
Gives-
lock of the week.
Young
Lock
Trent's
up
got
the
picks.
week.
Yeah. All right, guys. So for this week, I picked the Patriots and the Titans. We've got some
All right.
allegedly ball-obsessed George Washington army types versus the Titans, the immortal Greek gods.
Remember them.
Remember, not those Titans.
No one forgets.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Yeah.
pretty good.
I mean, I don't know. Never saw it. Not into sports. So,
Ouch.
yeah, I'm just saying. I still got to watch Hardball and Cry or something.
It's actually a drama. It's not even a sports movie.
And the
Hypothermia.
Titans are literally the earth and the sky and all the elements of stuff. I mean, how are you going to fight nature,
Yeah. And so I guess, yeah. I agree. Lock of the week, Titan versus Patriots.
It's going to be a smash.
Yeah, so if you don't remember, young Trenton was right on his first pick.
It's true.
Houston?
Yeah, Texans over the
Texans
Dolphins.
Texans over Dolphins
Yeah.
covered easily. So
Mm.
hopefully you took your life savings and betted on them.
Yeah.
And now you should do the same this
Do it
week.
again, yeah.
Take
double
the
up.
Titans. Don't look at
Double
the
up.
Patriots record.
And that extra
Wow.
money you
Don't-
made on the last pick, putting all that money,
Yeah.
because we know you listened to us.
Of course.
Put it all in on
Let
this
it
one.
ride.
Let it roll.
Fuck Belichick. Fuck Brady. They cheated.
Yeah, they don't know anything.
Yeah.
Except
Okay.
cheating.
Now,
I like softballs.
young Trent, I think you've got a couple other little.
Yeah, man, I've got some hot in the streets. It's gonna be where I bring you
Take the
guys
picks.
some weird. Oh, I didn't do any more picks. I just did the lock.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we got hot
On the
It's hot in
streets,
the
yeah.
streets, man.
What's your take, man?
What's spicy out there? Well, I've got two things for you. One of them is probably gonna catch you guys a little off guard.
All
You
right.
know, Netflix remade that Sabrina show, right?
Yeah,
I
I
did
saw
hear
it,
this.
and I
It's,
was like,
Super Satan-y. Well,
whoa.
they are getting sued, and Netflix is getting sued right now by the Temple of Satan, which has this like leader's got a real wonky eye. He's crazy looking.
Which is definitely real, by the way.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah, that is
definitely.
real.
But they
We're not gonna talk too much slander.
yeah, no, don't
None.
want to get Satan on you.
None.
But they made this ugly statue that's like a knockoff
It's a
of one of theirs, so
beautiful
they're
statue.
suing the crap out of them. And I can't wait to see how it goes. It's gonna be super interesting.
First of all, is there still a talking cat?
It's not no, it's like a cat, but it's like a goblin or something. It turns
Oh.
into like
That's
I watched most of
nuts.
it. It's like it's really weird. Like it's one of those shows that's like maybe trying to hide all kinds of like weird like PC stuff throughout it, but then like they straight up took an ABC Family show and made it with like murder and like hardcore Satan stuff. It was crazy, but it wasn't bad.
you would think that they would be glad to have the free publicity.
That's what I thought.
I mean,
Because like when you compare the one in the show to their statue, like it is like a kindergartner did it. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all disproportionate and stuff. Like it, I felt
Maybe
they
that's
could-
why they're suing.
that's why they're really mad.
Like,
if you just
well,
came and talked to
You're
us,
gonna do it right.
I don't know. I
Don't
thought
make us look like
You're making us
kindergartners.
look like this is a joke.
right when I first saw it, I thought they had like let him use it or something, but definitely didn't. And he's definitely trying to sue, so we'll see how that goes.
So what's your rating on that?
On Sabrina or on the
Yeah,
the lawsuit? Because I rate
Yeah.
the lawsuit at 10 out of 10 because that guy's kind of a pompous ass, and I'd like to see him get legally.
Okay. What about the show? You
Blasted.
said you'd watch it.
I'd give it a 6.
Six?
6 out of 10. 6 broom handles.
Okay.
Out of 10. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like, it caught me off guard. It's real weird, real murdery, real dark, super dark. Don't let your kids watch it. It's
Not
crazy.
as family friendly as you may have thought it would.
No, and also the main actress is a black belt in Taekwondo. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like
So
one of
does
her
she
top
fight?
Things. No, she doesn't fight, but apparently she can.
That could have made it a much better series.
Really
Wait,
cool, like
so
a Buffy mix maybe.
It's not Melissa Joan Hart.
No, it's definitely not. Nobody is in it that was in the original.
Oh,
They're
wow.
kind of Britishy people maybe, except for the main chick.
Alright.
But my second one is you need
Number
to check
2.
out Bronsolino's new album. It's called White Bronco.
Action
And
Bronson.
Fantastic, yeah. Action
It was
Bronson.
fire.
I
If you
was
don't know-
unsure of who you're speaking of.
Yeah, Action
I know,
Bronson
but
is
now I know.
a New York-based rapper. Once had an epic beard. Now he looks a little weird. He shaved it off.
No
That's
beard?
cool. It'll grow back.
It
Yeah,
looks a
it's
little bit
weird.
like Elmer Fudd. Right?
Yeah, he also loves
Rapper Elmer.
loves wrestling. I believe he has
Cooking.
yeah. F that's
Backflips.
delicious. Was one of his
Organic
shows.
wine.
But let me that's a little taste.
Yeah.
20 alligators died for this shit. I put my foot in it.
Woo!
That's
Man,
fire right there.
man,
That's
I
crazy.
agree.
That's
You
right.
can't-
That's like right in the beginning of the album too.
Oh man,
It
Oh,
might
wow.
be hard for some people to listen because he kind of just flows and flows without a hook, but his wordplay is on.
and he sounds exactly like Ghostface Killer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Except he talks about way more ridiculous things.
Like putting 20 alligators on his feet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
putting your blood on a BMW when he dies.
Yeah,
It's good, man. It's like 30 minutes for the whole album. That's
Yeah.
all I got for
Okay.
you this week.
So yeah, we've got we're going into video games. Yeah.
no, we still have takes. Don't you
Oh,
have
we're
one?
doing our takes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think we skipped a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Final take.
Final take, and then we'll do video games.
Yeah. Okay. So final take. I do have a final take, and it's the Lakers,
Oh.
Los Angeles
You
Lakers.
love talking about them.
Well, they've got just the best
They are
player
what's hot in the street.
in history. In LeBron James, they're fine. Okay, don't worry about the Lakers.
They don't look fine.
Luke Walton may not make it through the whole season, but I still think that the Lakers they'll make it in the playoffs. They'll sneak in 7, 8 seed. I never thought they'd be a 3 seed or anything like that. So they're gonna be fighting to get in. They will make it. Luke Walton, I don't know if you will. And Fatthew, you got a little
I do have a
hot
take.
action take over there.
So I've recently been on the internet and have kept seeing references to it being
What's that?
No Nut November.
Oh,
Apparently it started the last 2 years, but I'm just now, as an old man, as they say, woke recently. Apparently kids are exactly as it says. They are kind of like No Shave November. Instead of not shaving, they're not nutty.
Allegedly. It's hard to keep.
Some people are saying after like 2 weeks, you start getting psychic powers you never knew your body could have.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Because you're becoming pure.
But I think only the kids are doing this. And no reason would you want to be that stressed out. Like, you're giving away your God-given stress reliever, like, right there.
Yeah.
And I just think this leads to bad things. Could you imagine a room full of, like, 9th graders at November 30th? They're participating in No Nut November.
I don't think we should talk about kids nut.
Well,
I don't mean...
No.
And then I'm not... You took it that way.
Yeah.
Come on.
Anybody can be part of No Nut November.
Yeah, everyone's part of it. The kids are the ones doing it. It's not 30-year-olds out here like, yo, let me participate in No Nut November.
No, dude, this will blow your mind. There's a whole like movement right now called No Fap. And it's like just none at all. It's crazy. Imagine that. Just 1 month, whatever, You're going to be a little crazy by the end
Those
of the
people are
year.
just lying.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, there's no way.
If there's one thing that you can trust millennials on, it's the honor system.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Definitely did it.
Technically, if you look at the thing, we're millennials
at
too.
all, bro.
Yeah, but they don't...
1984.
Yeah, we're
the oldest.
Point.
Yeah, and
Generation under is technically as millennials, but they call them
we're the
we're
older
not
side
going to
of
get into that
millennials.
resident nerd,
Yeah.
bringing that real knowledge.
Aye, man.
Thanks, stats team.
Yeah, thanks, Stats team.
Yeah, so, it's November 4th, and I'm officially out of No Nut November, so.
Yeah. Hey, we've all lost. Whoops. Well, guess what? Yeah, I'm not feeling real tense right now, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Those are final takes.
Those are our takes. And unfortunately, it's
Final
not
takes.
final takes. But we're going to video game.
We got our video game spotlight.
Yeah, it's coming after the final takes.
Spotlight.
We're just mixing it up.
Yeah.
We're mixing it up.
Yeah, you don't know where we're coming
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, guys.
Spider-Man.
Phil Spiderman.
Drop the game, man.
Yeah, some DLC.
Yeah, the game came out a month ago, probably now.
Yeah, it's
but the
probably
DLC came out within the last week or two.
Mm-hmm.
I love, first of all, any video game that's got superheroes in it, I'm gonna play it.
Oh yeah.
Besides DC stuff, but that Batman's. But anyway, the swinging is really satisfies
Super
my
fun.
nerd soul.
Yeah.
It really is something about it. When you first start off the game, you will take your time going places because you're just enthralled with swinging around. By the end of it, you're like fast.
It's definitely cool. Like, you really don't need a fast travel
They give it
mechanism.
to you.
They have it,
I'm
but
glad they did.
I use it.
yeah,
That's cool.
Once I
but
swung from one end of the city to the other.
the city's pretty big.
My last take on that is, how does a poor kid have like 100 backpacks? One of the things you have to do is go find his backpacks, and there's 80 of
And
them.
they're just like stuck
And they're
everywhere.
just stuck places. Like, it's Spider-Man just have amnesia?
Yeah.
Because you
Close
think
to
you
the
need
head.
important stuff in your backpack when all you have is no pockets in your Spider-Man suit, and he just leaves it.
I think he's just a huge klepto. And I think that's like the whole reason that he goes out and saves crime and
'Cause he
is your
feels
friendly
guilt.
neighborhood. Yeah.
Because he feels
Because
guilt for all these backpacks.
he goes to like every lost and found in the city, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's my backpack.
That's my
I left
He's
that
kind of
here."
OJ in it though, because he's
Um,
stealing back his own stuff and then hiding it. It'll be like, picture of what I had in my room when I was a kid.
Well, it's like
How'd
when a
this
dog
get here?
gets a big bone, it's like they might chew it for a little bit, but they're gonna bury it. It's going in the hole.
What'd you think
That's
of
what
the DLC Black Cat?
I actually enjoyed it. I haven't finished it, but the very opening part to it, I thought was really
It
cool.
was
As
cool.
far as like,
They
stealing
gave you
some
a-
art.
Yeah.
Opening suit
yeah.
looks really sweet. Too.
Yeah, very shiny.
Yeah, and then,
Um,
I didn't like a lot of the shiny ones, but this one was nice.
Also, the storyline gets a little.
It's a little spicy for probably a
Spider-Man
rated T
and
game.
Black Cat.
It definitely should, because throughout the story of that other one, spoilers, but Mary Jane's kind of not a good person. She's kind of
Yeah.
mean to Mr.
A little
Spider-Man.
spiteful.
Well,
Like,
she's not
Yeah,
good to
dude.
him either. Like, she betrays
He
him.
has to go
That's
out
why
and
she
become Moving
disappeared.
Spider for a while.
He did. But he also, I think the DLC was nice. I think,
I think it was worth the $10.
It's definitely worth $10.
yeah, I like the costume.
Unless you
I thought
fall
the storyline was nice.
Yeah.
I was a little worried because the Black Cat missions in the game were boring.
Really boring.
Like, you had to like pinpoint something, but it wasn't that
Yeah.
bad. They did do something like that.
Yeah, I can do that.
My only grievance is that they do crimes, and as crimes updated throughout the game as you went, they got kind of hard. least more difficult.
Yeah.
And these, they really weren't more difficult. They were kind of dumb and kind of rehashed versions of stuff they already did.
Yeah. Figured them out. They were easy.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it. One of them, and you get the very first, we have no powers. You have to like stop a storefront break-in, like 3 guys.
Yeah.
Then they do it again with like 20 guys, and you can just throw like 1 weapon in there, grenade like all of them but 2. It's just it wasn't even difficult.
Web Strike, classic.
Yeah, knock them out.
That was a little bit of a little into depth nerd rant.
Definitely pick that game up though.
Yeah.
Also, they did do the Game Plus, which is kind of what you were just talking about.
Makes the game harder.
It's the exact same game. They
But
made
they're
it
harder.
a little bit harder,
That's
which
how all stuff does.
I liked because I played it on hard, and it gives me an opportunity to go back into it. So it's I think you can get through the whole game in maybe
10 of 10.
10, 15. Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, if you haven't got it, Black Friday's probably coming up. It'll be 40.
30,
I give this 10 spider fingers.
Yeah.
So
2 twits.
definitely would kill an 8-legged spider. Get it on PlayStation 4. They don't sponsor us yet.
Not yet.
They will.
Yeah,
Because we will.
Sony.
Next pod,
Sony.
PS Plus reviews for November.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do.
Bulletstorm and Yakuza Kiwami.
There it is.
Whoops.
So before we...
Sneak preview.
Yeah.
What was that called?
That
Foreshadowing?
was a tease.
Yeah.
But it was a little tease. A little tickle. Dude.
So-
Talking.
So-